So welcome back everyone to a new episode of Running Down History, and I am checking out arguably the most important time of day for any sailor who's ever served aboard an aircraft carrier, and that is chow time. So on this board here, it actually points out an aspect of chow time that I would have never thought of. It does give sailors a chance to unwind, whether that's during combat operations or non-stop round-the-clock training. Valid point. It makes sailors unwind. Anyone working in the food service would have spent long hours cooking, serving, cleaning, and hauling supplies and garbage. Most new sailors were happy when their mess assignment was over, and I can't blame them because I wouldn't want to do it either. Now I realize I'm going to spend way too much time on one single piece of paper, but in one day, which is 3 meals, the crew would have consumed the following: 6,000 potatoes, 2,100 pounds of meat, 10,000 pats of butter. I don't know what a pat of butter is, but it sounds like a lot. 4,200 eggs, 9,900 slices of bread, 200 pounds of coffee. I actually expected that number to be higher. So again, this is a look here of the renovated mess hall aboard the Fighting Eye. This is what it would have looked like, and again, this is just a mere fraction of the size of a kitchen or a serving area. There's actually numerous decks and numerous mess halls, depending upon your rank. And yes, 40 to 60 sailors would have worked in Intrepid's S2 division, which was responsible for food service. A mere fraction of them would have been specialized in baking. Now, in baking, right, there would have been 3 to 4 sailors who worked 12-hour shifts. So 2 shifts, 3 to 4 sailors each. The night shift baked as many as 800 loaves of bread for next day's meals. That's freaking insane. The day shift prepared pastries and desserts, including about 60 cakes for an average dinner. 60! I mean, I'm trying to wrap my mind around these numbers, and they're just absolutely knucking futz. Maybe wondering why cake? Why is cake such a big theme? Well, life aboard Intrepid would fall into a fairly predictable routine. So in order to deal with the stress of combat, as well as boredom, frustration, and just week after week at sea, the ship's leadership sought ways to increase the crew's morale. And they figured one morale booster is cake, which they're not wrong. So cake would be offered to the crew after long, hard days of work, brought the crew together in celebration of what they accomplished and what they had endured. All right, now I'll be honest, math was absolutely never my strong suit. But math comes in handy when you gotta cook for 3,000 men. So bear with me here. Preparing meals on Intrepid required careful calculations. Make too much and food goes to waste. Make too little and some sailors don't get dessert. Either way is not good. So you gotta be on your A game. Each recipe would make 100 portions, and commissary men calculated the right amount for their crew. This peach crisp recipe requires 670 pounds of canned peaches to make 2,500 portions. And that's just one ingredient in one dessert for one meal. Mind is blown currently. Alright, so this is another section of renovated mess here aboard the Fighting Eye, and this would have been, I'd imagine, where sailors would have had their tray going down the chow line, right? You have all these numerous hot pockets here. Look at the size of those mixers for making fresh loaves of bread and God knows what else. Look at all the flat tops hidden back there, and there's the oven. Look at the size of those ovens. Good God. I just can't imagine this place had to have been cranking all day, every day. The Intrepid departs Norfolk. The men of the S2 division dish up food for 15 hours a day. Talk about a long day. They serve about 7,500 meals daily. The crew requires 7 tons of food every day, and 211 days and almost 1.6 million meals later, the Intrepid returns to Norfolk. As I mentioned earlier, depending on your rank, you sometimes would be eaten in different mess halls aboard the ship, right? And this is what it's talking about. By the early 70s, first-class petty officers had their own mess and lounge located here, and second-class petty officers sat in the blue room around the corner. Separate seating areas were a privilege of advancement. Lower rated and lower enlisted were not allowed to eat here. They ate further aft in the general mess. So this is a picture of the first class petty officer lounge in 1970. I'm not gonna lie, looks pretty sweet, pretty comfy. Really cool, actually. So aboard the Fighting Eye, there was actually their own newspaper. A newspaper written and printed on board provided entertainment and information, such as boxing competitions, movies, performances, and holiday celebrations, would help mark the passage of time for the crew who would who would spend months at sea. In port, the ship's baseball teams and basketball teams challenged other U.S. Navy squads. And if you've seen my previous episodes aboard this aircraft carrier, you know by now I'm dying to explore closed off areas of this ship. How do I get down there? All right, so this is one of the most bizarre pieces of history I think I may have ever come across. Now, this is a photo album. Sailors that were stationed aboard the Fighting Eye here with no female presence at all aboard this ship before 1978 kept photographs from all different kind of international ports that they had visited, all neatly marked with what country they're from. Strange. Oh no, officers' country. Not a good place for an enlisted man to be, that's for sure. Now we're going to take a quick peek at junior officer bunk rooms that are here aboard the ship. And they're actually, I got to be honest, they're in a weird way, they're quite cozy. And after a long day of work and with the full tummy from the mess hall, this is probably a pretty comfortable place to unwind and sleep in a closed-in rack. I have firsthand experience dealing with mail calls, and they really can lift your morale up just getting that few pieces of paper from a loved one or family member. Mail call is always a special time of the day or a special time of the week. These pockmark the entire flight deck, and what these are ties to secure aircraft to the flight deck during transit. Really cool, and I am no doubt it's often overlooked history. So if you ever go to the Fighting Eye, make sure when you're on the flight deck, just look down. So I had no idea that they had aircraft preservation and restoration here as a different exhibit on the flight deck. And if I look inside, hey, they got a Huey currently being restored. That'll be neat. Now, whether you've been in the military or not, I guarantee you know what an Apache attack helicopter is. This is the precursor to the Apache, the Cobra, which saw time it was first introduced in the second half of Vietnam, I believe. Man, if you like Cold War aircraft with the backdrop of New York City, there's no better place to be right here. I do want to take this opportunity to just also show you what else is here if you ever want to come here, which everyone should. They do have the supersonic aircraft Concorde. They do have the submarine USS Growler, and they do have the Space Shuttle Orbiter Enterprise. I ran through the Space Shuttle Orbiter Enterprise area really quick. I was running out of time for the day, but if you want to see that, you want me to make it into an episode, just drop a comment down below and let me know, and I can get that out there for you guys. But it is not just an aircraft carrier. It's not just Cold War aircraft here. They have a bunch of other things, from the Concorde to the Growler to the Enterprise. Just, it's an unbelievable place for history. Wait a minute, Rooster? Top Gun Maverick? Is Rooster here? Rooster! Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Running Down History. This is the final episode of my time here aboard the Fighting Eye. However, it is not going to be the last time the Fighting Eye makes an appearance on this channel. But if you made it this far into the video, please smash that subscribe button, give the episode a thumbs up, and comment down below. And I will see you all next week at the same time, same day, same channel.